everybody, welcome back to Eclectric Reviews. Yes, reviews, I'm reviewing something again. This is Sirenia. This album came out this year. I think it was October. I have my handy little note here, so I can go like, oh yeah, I remember what the album's called. Because I automatically forget those sort of things the moment I'm on camera, because the camera is terrifying. But anyway, Sirenia, Arcane Astral Aeons is the album. Came out in October, I think it is. It is. Sirenia are a Norwegian Gothic symphonic band. I had a quick look up of them, and for whatever reason, they've been called everything. People go like Doom. I don't think they're Doom. People go Death. I don't think they're Death. Because they do have death metal vocals in there. They do have black metal vocals in there. They do have like harsh vocals in there. They have chanting in there. They do have male cleans in there as well. Spoken word almost at times. But there's also, of course, the female vocal element, which is the main vocal of the group, which makes it more of a symphonic band in that sense. Although the Gothic thing can come into play, I suppose, maybe sometime in their history. It doesn't feel that Gothic-y, this album. But maybe, they dress in black, let's call them Gothic. Who knows? Anyway, as I was saying, they're Norwegian. But I think the Norwegian element basically relates to the main guy in the band, because I think everybody else has left over the time and been replaced by other people. The singer, Emmanuel Zoldan, she joined for the previous album, so even the original female vocalist is no longer with them, though I haven't really heard any Sirenia other than that I discovered them through my channel, through people going, hey, listen to Sirenia. Well, actually it wasn't. Was it? Might have been. No, it was a new release Monday. I find things in the end. Anyway, so this is the second album with this lady, and this album also has a completely new lineup. So there's the original guys, which makes it still Norwegian somehow, and some other people from various countries, I think, in the band. The last album, I think, was mainly session musicians, from what I looked up. Well, that's an interesting thing. They couldn't find anybody to join them, or anybody in time. But anyway, I've done 2 reactions for Sirenia so far. Into the Night, Love Like Cyanide, both great singles. Love Like Cyanide is the best one. It is highly commercial because it's got a really good hook to it, and that's the 3rd track in the album. Now this album is definitely a mix of really terrific songs and more mediocre, more like, yeah, it's alright sort of songs. There isn't any terrible song in this album. There's no song that made me go, oh no. They're all of a really good standard. It's just some, of course, raise the bar to really great levels, while others are they're just there, like filler. You know, when people say filler because they don't like the song. For me, filler is it's just a good song that doesn't really add anything. They didn't need to put it in there. But of course, if you put in an album, you've got to have enough songs to fill up an album most of the time. This one's got 11 tracks to it. Some people might get 12 because they also include Love Like Cyanide as an edited version. You know, like the single version. It's like, why? Oh, this is the version that's out there on radio and things like. Yeah, it doesn't. You don't lose anything. It doesn't add anything either. You've already got the full version on there. It's not. It's only a minute longer, thereabouts. There's no need for the edited version really. It's just something they just blocked it on to go like, hey, worth the money, right? So. It's not like an extra song that's like, ooh, especially for Europe or especially for Japan or especially for... No, it's just an edited version of a single, probably one that most people have heard, and this one that's actually on the album, the full version, extra minute. You can't tell, as far as I'm concerned, so why would I ever listen to the radio edit? Anyway, it opens up with In Styx Embrace and slams you against the wall immediately. In Styx Embrace is a powerful, full-on symphonic opening to this album, and really does make you go, whoa, this could be a true masterpiece of symphonic, gothic, progressive, whatever class of metal you want to put it on. This is looking like it could well be. And straight away it kicks off with its mixture of high quality female vocals and growling. And it also includes a very, very interesting, almost acoustic, probably is acoustic, interlude in the middle of it, before erupting again. And this is a thing that runs as a theme throughout most of the songs on this album by Sirenia. You've got the constant chug 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 going on, and you get the female vocals, and then you get pardon me, then you get a mix of different male vocals. Like I say, sometimes it's rah 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 growling, sometimes it's ah, and sometimes it's harshish, sometimes it's whispered, sometimes it's chanting, sometimes it's spoken word. But the male vocals, there's always a variety of different ones on there. They come back again here and there throughout each of the different songs, but there's always different variants to them. So that makes quite a difference, because it's like, oh, we're going to get the male vocals in a minute. Here comes the rah rah rah. Oh, that's different. I expected the male vocals there. They've come up there, but they're actually quite different to the last one. And that's another theme that goes through it. So you've got the interludes, which vary in length and vary in style, but are always slightly different to the overall sound of the song, and add a little frisson. There's a good word. You know, I think it's French, which is interesting because she's French as well. Frisson to the sound. So each song does have elements of difference that can make it stand out a bit more. But like I say, some of the songs, because the overall sound of those songs is a bit, it doesn't really add enough of an element. Like I say, it starts off with In Sticks and Praise, brilliant, bombastic. Then it goes Into the Night, which was one of those singles, and it's okay. When I reacted to it, it was okay as well. It was good. It was good. It was nowhere near as good as Love Like Cyanide, and it still isn't. And in some ways, it's like the record takes a little dip with it. It's a good song. It's a solid song, but it's not a great song. But then Love Like Cyanide comes up, so it goes basically like that. In sonically speaking, goes from an awesome song to a okay good song to an awesome commercial song. So it's flowing. Then we come up with Desire. I'm not doing all these songs in order. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. But these are just the ones that caught me out, because the first four are interesting. An interesting juxtaposition to the rest of the album. Desire comes up, and basically it sounds like Depeche Mode, Enjoy the Silence. At least the verse stanza does. It's like, that's interesting. But of course, they're a gothic symphonic metal band, and there's quite a few influences by groups like Depeche Mode on that kind of music. Here and there, you hear them all the time. You hear moments of Depeche Mode songs, and other groups of that style, of that era. So I'm not surprised. It just felt much more overt to me, at least at the start. And strangely, my only way of saying what it breaks down into, for a little part of it, is imagine you're at a French bistro, and there's an accordion player, or there's that usual, the usual sort of French style cafe music you hear on cliche TV and movies. That comes in here. I think that's when she actually does some singing in French as well, because there's a couple of songs here and there where we get French singing. And when I first heard this album, I thought, are these guys French? And then of course I looked them up, and they're actually Norwegian, or at least the one guy left is Norwegian, and he did hire this lady from France for the last two albums, for this one and the last one before it. And she's French, so the French influence is there for all to see. And I think there's another French member as well, or there was in recent history. So they're much more French than Norwegian now, Is that a daring thing to say to fans of Sirenia? I don't know. It just seems interesting that there's much more of a French influence because there's a bit of French music and a bit of French singing going on in it. It's interesting, and Desire does make it interesting. Now, the middle of the album, after the first 4 songs have come along and just made you go, yeah, 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 sags a little. There is, I'll have to read this out because it's like, Nos Jueves Sombras, or Jueves Sombras, that's sung in French, I think. It is very solid, it feels very classy, but the songs before it, Asphyxia is a reasonable toe tapper, but Queen of Lies is like just ordinary. The Voyage, it's got the interesting male chanting going to it, but it's fairly ordinary as well. Aerodyne is a decent song too, opening up with strings, it's good and solid, but these are all just good and solid songs, and I'm like, it sort of is a disappointment after the first 4 songs, the dynamics of the first 4 songs and the variety and power of the first 4 songs together as a group. I mean, I could say Into the Night could be just chucked out of that, say the 3 out of the 4, but Into the Night is part of that, and it's good standard. The rest, like I say, other than Sombras, are a bit, they're not bad songs, they're not great songs. It's just like a solid middle that hasn't got enough dynamic interest to it for me. Like I say, Aerodyne does step things up again, really. It's in fact the last 3 songs, I think Aerodyne's the one of the last 3. It's much more up-tempo riffing, the spoken word breakdown, and harsh vocals in there, and it has a good mix. It's decent song, and in comparison to the ones that went before it in that little middle section, it feels a bit more up there. And then we come to the penultimate song, The Twilight Hour, and in many ways it could have been the last song, because it would have been a perfect full circle, because it is a pompous, overblowing, epic, powerful piece of music, like in Styx Embrace. It basically goes woof back into you and picks you back up again, which the middle songs in the main didn't do. And that was great, yeah! And then it ends with Glowing Embers, which is an even more pompous song, and is a great ending. It's a great ending. There's 7 terrific songs on this album out of 11. Well, actually there's 8 terrific songs out of this album out of 11, if you include Sombras in there. It's just the 3 that surround Sombras in the middle of the album are a bit good. And on other albums, they would be true standouts, really, I would think. But compared to the rest of the album, they just don't. And if I take Into the Night and go, like, Into the Night's fairly ordinary, you know, it's not brilliant, it's a decent toe-tapping commercial song, but it's not like, whoa, then you can say the 7, if I'm going to be really rough about it. But Into the Night's great. I enjoy Into the Night enough to go, like, no. So you've got the first 4, then you've got a couple of, like, yeah, alright, yeah, okay. Then you've got Sombras, which is like, ooh, and then you've got another song, which is like, and then you've got Aerodyne stuck kicking off the final ending 3, which make you go, woo, again. So this is definitely one of those albums. It happens to quite a few albums out there where the middle can sag. If you take them separately and listen to them separately, you'll probably really like them. But on the album as a whole, they do drag it down a little bit from wow quality to, like, yeah, it's a decent album. I would give this album a 7 because of those 3 songs, really. 3 to 4 songs that are just like good, but not good enough to match up to the rest of this album. Great vocals, great musicianship, great writing the most part, just a few baddish apples that dragged it down a little bit to make it go, ah. But it's a solid 7, quality 7. I was thinking, oh, that's one of the B team of symphonic metal bands out there, you know, after Nightwish and Epica and things like that. how good will it be? And it's pretty damn good. I would recommend Sirenia to anybody who loves symphonic metal and likes a bit of gothic in there and likes a variety of vocal styles going on in there, because it's pretty damn terrific. Hope you enjoyed this review. If you didn't, let me know why. If you did, if you agreed with me on anything, let me know why. If this helped you make a choice in purchasing or listening to this album, tell me. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you for more very, very soon. Don't forget to subscribe, to share, to comment. Let me know other bands, other records that you want me to review. And I'll see you for another one. Bye.